So, you just wish you could save the position of certain bones and call them whenever you want. Not a problem. In order to save a pose, select all the bones involved. Under the Running Man, go to Pose Libraries, New, press the plus, Add New, and name the pose whatever you want. You're done. And when you're done, make sure that you check this button. Otherwise, you will lose all of your data. Plus, Add New, and name the pose whatever you want. You're done. And when you're done, make sure that you check this. Button. Otherwise, you will lose all of your data, even if you save. Why the flying f*** this isn't set to on by default is beyond me. But make sure that button is checked, or everything you did that day is gone. You can add as many new poses as you want by repeating the process, and select it, Add New. Or if you want to change an old pose, select it, Fix Your Bones, and click Replace Existing. Once you've got all your poses, you can activate them by picking one and clicking on the magnifying glass. Anyway, hope that helps. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget. Not a problem. In order to save a pose, select all the bones involved. Under the Running Man, go to Pose Libraries, New, press the plus, Add New, and name the pose whatever you want. You're done. And when you're done, make sure that you check this button. Otherwise, you will lose all of your data, even if you save. Why the flying f*** this isn't set to on by default is beyond me. But make sure that button is checked, or everything you did that day is gone. You can add as many new poses as you want by repeating the process, and select it, Add New.
So in today's video, we're going to talk about how to use the new Pose Library feature inside of Blender 3.0 in order to save different poses for your rigged objects in Blender. Now let's go ahead and just jump into it. Alright, so first things first, make sure that you've downloaded Blender 3.0 or above, because this is a feature that's a part of the new asset library. I'll also link to the documentation about the Pose Library in the notes below the video. But basically what we want to do is we want to take a file, and this is one of the example files from the Sprite Fright video. You can download all of these assets with a Blender Studio membership, but we're going to use this for our example. And so what we want to do is we want to save some different poses using our character, right? And so the first thing we want to do is notice how we're in object mode right now. Most of the time you're working with pose mode, you want to make sure that you're actually, or when you're working with your pose library, you want to make sure that you're actually in pose mode. Because notice if I tap the N key right now, nothing shows up over here. But if I jump into the pose mode, notice how there's an option here for Pose Library. And so when you tap the N key and click on Animation, you can click on Pose Library in order to see the different poses saved in your asset library. And so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to drag a new window over here, and I want to put this in here as an asset browser window. So we're just going to click the drop down, click on asset browser right here. Notice how the poses that are already in here show up both in my asset library and in my pose library over here. Notice how I can click on these. So for example, if you look at the eyes, and I click on the eyes like this, notice how I can click on these in order to quickly go between the different poses that are saved in here inside of my scene. So not only is this working with the face, notice how this is also working with the hand. So you can see how the hand will go to the different poses if I click on them right here. And so let's say that we wanted to create and save a pose. Well, what we want to do is we want to start by going into pose mode in our model, and then I'm just going to click on something, in this case probably this foot right here. Notice how this is rigged already. So because it's already rigged, it's really easy to save this pose. But what we want to do in this situation is once we create or we have the foot in the location that we want, so I just clicked on this and moved it around, we just want to select the relevant bones. So I'm just going to click and drag around here. We could probably pick up all of these, but I think I'm just going to pick these up right here. But now what we want to do is we want to create a new pose. So we've got our knee up in the air. So let's create a pose asset by clicking on the Create Pose Asset button right here. So if I click on that, notice what that's going to do is that's going to add a pose at the bottom of the page or at the bottom of the list right here. And so you can select that right here, or if you want to edit it, you can go over into your asset browser right here and find that inside of your scene. So if I scroll down, notice how that's just showing up here as Rig Rex. Well, what we want to do is we want to tap the N key. That's going to pop up a little window right here, and that's going to allow us to rename this. So in this case, we're going to name this knee underscore up, like this. So now we have a pose in here where our character has their knee up in the air like this. Well, now let's create another one with our knee down. So we're just going to We'll move the foot down and over like this. And I'm just going to select these bones again, and I'm just going to create a new pose. So in this case, we're going to click on Create Pose Asset, and we're going to name this pose asset knee underscore down right here. So now you can see how inside of your